Hello, my friends. It's nice to have you back. Today, I would like to analyze some articles uh, from the media regarding I would say, the Cuban Missile Crisis Part 2. Um, I'm assuming that we all have an idea of what happened in 1962 with missiles issue. Um, the U.S. put some atomic bombs with rockets in Turkey. Khrushchev told JFK to take them out. JFK said no. Khrushchev said, "Okay, no problem. We're gonna bring some. If you don't want to do that, we're gonna bring some of our rockets in Cuba." And when they started bringing and building sites for launching sites, and bringing tubes, not the rockets, not the atomic bombs or nuclear bombs or anything, contrary to what it's been pushed today. And obviously, JFK did not like that and said, "Well, you got to take them back." Which I say, "Okay, I take them back. I take everything back, but you take your things from Turkey in 6 months." JFK said yes, and they stopped the process of building the launching pads, sites, and in 6 months, the United States removed their atomic rockets from Turkey. So back to today's situation, contrary to what the mass media and the politicians in two countries, which is England and not Great Britain, England and the United States, they're the big pushers. They try to make it um, all this situation with Russia right now only about Ukraine. Well, Ukraine is a little part from what the Russians are saying, but the other guys are not hearing. They're hearing them, but they're not listening to them or something. Uh, they just make it Ukraine, and in mass media, everything's about Ukraine, 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 and NATO and Ukraine. Well, the Russians, they think that NATO is too close to their borders, the distance or that would need for a rocket to, let's say, take off from not Bucharest, from Romania or from Poland, or now if somehow Ukraine joins NATO, if Americans will bring, nuclear weapons and rockets in Ukraine, it's going to be like 3 minutes, I think, from Ukraine to Moscow or something like that. It's something very 10 minutes or something time of reaction, and that's unacceptable for their security. Which just put yourself in. I mean, those NATO is not against Iran or Turkey, or Turkey is in NATO, but it seems like Turkey nowadays it's very weird. But it's not Iran, or no, it's a kind of a policeman of the world, and Russia is the main adversary at this point. So the Russians said, no, you know what? You fooled us since 1991. You promised us, you signed certain documents that you will not extend 1 inch eastwards. You're not going to go into Eastern Bloc, Eastern European Bloc, and you're going to admit anybody from there. Well, they got assurances, they got some signatures, and these guys they ignore them. So now they got what, 5 steps, 5 times they extended, and now if they want to get closer, they tried with Georgia, and they failed over there because they got punched in the nose. Now they're going to try with Ukraine, including the fact that it's the Crimea situation. So if Ukraine gets into NATO and has a problem with Russia for, let's say, Crimea, or for whatever reason, you have to get into war with Russia, like Romania or whoever is part of NATO. and fight against the Russians with. You can imagine the Russians 3 rockets, Romania is not there, Poland is not there with all the so-called anti-rocket and whatever defensive rockets they say they have over there. Um, the Russians asked NATO and um, United States for some legally binding security guarantees. That means they want the Western countries and NATO to legally come with a document, agree to a document that they will not expand closer to Russia. And I think they want to go back to a treaty they had in 1997 regarding the last one of the last how do you call it when they accepted a new round of countries from Eastern Europe into NATO, and they want the United States to take their weapons and whatever they have, the military personnel and uh, whatever weapons they have from Romania, I think Poland, Bulgaria, something like that. So they want to push them back a little bit. I don't think the NATO will do that, but let's go back to Khrushchev and JFK. So then the Russians said, okay, if you're not going to do that, we're going to have our methods to solve that. And they even hinted, and not hinted, they mentioned that they will do the same thing, which is they will bring rockets, defensive rockets, in Cuba and Venezuela and somewhere in the Western Hemisphere, which are going to be so close to the United States. The United States is going to have strokes after strokes after strokes, heart attacks, heart attacks. So we're gonna get closer. I mean, if you don't, if you're okay with me having your troops at my door, that means you're okay if I have my troops at your door, right? And they will say no. Why? Because they're special. So the law, again, pick and choose. Selective justice. That's what it is. So this is where we are at right now. In Ukraine, it's a different story. Now I'm gonna just read some articles that I thought they were some a little bit interesting. And one is coming from Wednesday, February 16th, 2022, from Associated Press. And the title is written by Regina Garcia Cano. And he says Venezuela's leader pledges military cooperation with Russia. And the president of Venezuela met Maduro. He met one of the Russian diplomats, talk about deployment of and help with the military. That's gonna have the Americans have a heart attack and many, 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 many strokes, mini strokes. Another one is not really, is not related to the subject. It's Fauci says time to start inching back toward normality. Why don't you inch, not inch? Why don't you get the speed of light towards a grave, Fauci? Inching. He tells us that we just slowly shut the hell up, Fauci. Right? He is telling us time to start inching. Like, no, you go straight there, 6 feet under. Okay, Biden, President Biden. Oh, this with Fauci was on Reuters on February 16th, 2022. The author was Julie Steenhuisen, something like that. The next one is a ABC News, February 17th, 2022. It says Biden warns risks of Russia invading Ukraine is very high. Well, we heard that many times, and maybe he knows something we don't, but until I see it, I don't believe it. So, false flag operation, it's underway from what I heard. I don't know who started it, but it seems it's going according to the plans of some military guys here. Okay, says here CBS News, February 17th, 2022. No author here. It says Russian ally Belarus says it could host nuclear weapons if threatened. There you have it. So the Russians are going to bring nuclear weapons closer to Europe, and they're going to have the French, the Germans, and the English shitting their pants. What's wrong with that? I mean, you bring here, I bring there. So see who's gonna blink. And now we go to Canadian Freedom Convoy organizer arrested in Ottawa. Well, this is a Fox News, obviously. Otherwise, you will hear some other things from Adam Sables, Sabes, Sabes, Thursday, February 17th, 2022. So you know that over there, that the little dictator, what's his name, Prime Minister Trudeau instituted martial law, so they can freeze your assets, they can arrest you for whatever. The civil liberties were very limited and so on. So that's bad what's happening over there, but that tells you the extent of their power. Now we have here a Business Insider US from 18th of February 2022. US says Russia has deployed 190,000 troops around Ukraine, almost doubling its strength in 2 weeks while claiming to withdraw. Why should they withdraw? It's my country. I deploy my troops wherever I want. I mean, you deploy your troops what to Poland, to wherever you want because of our threat, because we do maneuvers in our on our territory. You bring your troops in other countries, thousands away from your territory, and you are the threat. It's just hypocrisy. All right, Reuters. U.S. announces Abrams tanks for Poland as Russia threat mounts. This is a February 18th, 2022. Phil Stewart. So the military industrial complex is going to make a lot of money, yes, and they reach their goal, and the Poles are going to pay because the Russian threat. Okay, well, if it's a Russian threat, buy some Abram tanks, right, or something from someone else, and get them rich because they are the promoters of wars. And war, it's the only industry, the biggest industry here in the United States, the manufacturing of military equipment. Just check that out. I remember that when Romania was before 1989, then the dictator, the country, Nicolae Ceausescu, he paid, he succeeded to pay all um, the country's debt and had a surplus. So he was saving money and so on. And then he got killed with the outside help and the inside traders. Then we all thought as when we lived under those circumstances that because we didn't have food and we didn't have a lot of products, we didn't have a lot of food. Not it was bad, not much electricity, water, hot water, heat, and so on. We thought that all these things are just we sell them abroad and we get dollars to pay our debt, the country's debt. But then I listened to a very interesting historian, military historian, who said that actually the main source of money, the dollars coming in here in a country in Romania, was not from the food and selling oil, sending oil and cars, and it was from military. We were one of the in the first I don't know 7 countries in the world as exporters of military, you know, guns, tanks, and whatever we produced. That's the way they said. That was the main source. That's how we Romania then paid its debt, external debt. So they just copied, I guess, these guys who want to starting a war, so their buddies can make some money. Just as a reminder, that crazy man, madman, Donald Trump did not start a war. One war. These guys almost a year and they're itching to start another one, a few of them, including they already started bombing in Syria that we don't even know much. All right, well, stay smart, stay strong, look and search for the truth, and dispense justice. Be a just person, but you can't be just if you don't know what the truth is. See you next time. Bye bye.